All right, this is episode 2 of the Panther Folding Table podcast. You got me, Poi, as the host. You got who wants to go first? Mac or Tack? We'll go with Mac, Wave,
Hey,
and we
how's
got
it going?
Tack, Wave. There you go, and then we'll introduce Elliott. Hello, Elliott, and welcome
Hello,
to the show. Give us a little bit of an introduction about yourself.
my name's Elliott.
Pretty solid.
Well,
Yep.
That's
10
yeah,
out of
solid,
10.
solid.
10 out of 10.
Okay, 10 out of 10. Yeah.
So I run Panther. I just don't do podcasts ever. So this was new for me, and it's still really awkward not publicly speaking in person. So, yeah, that's me.
In terms of
Don't worry, we can
airsoft, how long have you played airsoft for?
Played it.
Yeah.
About 15 years.
Where did you start?
Out in the UK. Place called it was Urban Combat. It no longer exists, but talking fields that have tanks, they were the first field I went to that had tanks, and they had a BMP just sitting in the parking lot.
Ironically enough, your field
Oh,
does have tanks now. I
Right?
like how that carried on.
Yeah, he kept it going. He's like, we're gonna make this happen.
Wow.
Just bringing back the glory days.
So in terms of like running Panther, when did you start managing Panther? I remember you being an employee back
mhm.
then. Like this was a
I-
while ago. I've known you
yeah.
for a while, and
I remember
like when
that
did you
too,
start
actually.
running it?
So started running the airsoft side of thing maybe like 3 months into working at Panther. Used to be a paintball ref, then talked to the owner at the time about running airsoft there. Then became the manager of airsoft, and slowly that grew, and then overtook paintball, and then got priority. And then one by one, I was assigned other managerial jobs until I became the manager of it all.
That's impressive. That is impressive. So
Yeah.
we would say you're solely responsible for bringing airsoft to Panther then.
Yeah, well, commercially, I've actually had this conversation before with people. Is I wasn't the first. I don't try to claim I was the first. I was just the first to commercialize airsoft at Panther.
Hmm.
Yeah, he made sure he's the guy who made sure we could get onto the path that we are today, where we can all get out there and enjoy playing airsoft from 10 to 6 on Saturday and Sunday.
Mhm,
Or in this
mhm.
case, you two living there too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
well, with Elliot
this
creating
is
the atmosphere that he did, it kind of it evolved airsoft, at least in our community, from being backyard plinkers to actually having a location to where we could all gather and stuff like that. So, that was essentially a catalyst to, what's sort of going on right now. Like, I understand there's tons of other fields out there, up north and whatnot, as well as back east. I can't and some close by too, I believe in Kelowna or Kamloops, I believe. But
yeah.
regardless of that, it's just like it helps grow the community and stuff like that, and it was really it was awesome, pretty much. Like without that, I probably wouldn't have as much fun as I do on the weekends without it.
Yeah, same for me as well. Like, it,
mm,
like for 10 years now, I've been a Panther and I've seen it evolve so much. And yeah, thanks to Elliot. Hey.
Thank you.
All right. So Elliot is gonna be. I'm not gonna say a regular host in the
Mm.
folding table talk. Are you? Do you think you're gonna come by, drop by? Are you gonna, you know?
Well, it really comes on to my shifts. Like right now,
Mhm.
I got free time, but once the film retakes off in BC, then I'm not going to be around until like 7 p.m. on every weekday. So that comes down to either we push back the entire recording, or I just might not be around at all.
Mm.
All right. Okay, that's our fourth host here, Elliot. Shall we move on to our topics that we want to discuss, guys? Do you guys have any questions for Elliot himself? I'm guessing that's
well,
a
I mean,
no.
I know I know the guy pretty well. I
Yeah,
talk to him a
yeah,
lot.
we all know him. But we have to introduce him to our
like,
audience. I mean,
what'd you have for breakfast, Elliot? Was it good? Did you eat
It was
breakfast?
pepperoni sticks.
pepperoni
These are the
sticks.
questions that I
Well,
ask.
Okay, well, I guess questions for me that I think some of the audience would be curious about is like I obviously you yourself play airsoft. What's your sort of typical setup or kit, that you would go to play with?
Something that has a high rate of fire, but not so bad that it causes pain. Like I'm good with like a good 25-30 rounds a second, but if
Mhm.
I'm gonna use that kind of high speed loadout, I then limit the mag capacity on it. Like I won't run a high cap at 30 rounds. I'll only run mid cap. So it's like if I get carried away, I stop myself by running out of ammo.
Gotcha.
Okay, makes sense. Give yourself a little handicap. That's
Yeah,
always good. Adds to the fun and
A
little
challenge
challenge.
as well. Yeah.
and then finding mag space when you need it.
Let's not get into that right now.
Actually, I have a question for you, Elliot. How does
There
airsoft
you go, there you go.
differ from the UK versus BC in general?
It's a lot more organized in the UK, with so much competition. So right now, there's not a lot of commercial fields in BC for airsoft, whereas the same space as BC is the UK, and there are a good few in each like county essentially. So it's like there's a lot more competition for business. So they had to all up their game, and they've all had their different ways. And with them having a big development in their industrialized parts of the country, they have a lot more urban environments. Like there was one I saw, can't remember the name of it, but it was something like Combat Zero or whatever. But they took over like a former prison, and they just have the whole prison building.
Oh
Oh,
wow.
that's cool.
We have
All
like
right, go
abandoned
play
prisons
there.
here, but
Hmm.
we could hardly use
Not
it.
commercially available.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
not
unfortunate.
commercially available. Yeah.
Unless someone wants to do it in the community, come on, someone step up.
Well, that's the thing.
Who's got that capital?
I'm just
Yeah.
saying, if we're willing to move the BC airsoft community to like Scotland or Ireland, we could get a dope castle. I'm just saying, guys.
We don't have castles
If
here,
we
sorry.
all band together.
We're
I've
only
seen
like
it, okay?
100
I've
years
seen
old.
the Craigslist ads. I've seen the Craigslist ads.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my gosh. All right, I think
Um,
we're done roasting Elliot here. Shall we move on? All right. So one of the topics we chose here today is we noticed, or not noticed, but since the epidemic, um, all of our brick and mortar stores for airsoft. Speaking of our main one is Trigger here. They've closed down basically because of the pandemic. Trigger recently reopened up with their COVID-19 measures in place. So we're gonna discuss in regards to how stores are doing under all this COVID-19 like measures in place. So what does that mean for players? So if someone wants to jump in there, let's go.
Okay, so first off, we all know that Trigger did close the physical brick and mortar store, but they do have a fantastic um, online avenue to acquire materials, parts, whatever you're looking for, and they're very good about that. So again, big thanks to those guys for just riding out this pandemic here, and yeah, and finally being able to open and stuff. So that's a big congrats to those guys.
Yeah, they really, because they even talked to Ken before closure, and he was worried about it. He really did worry for the store and making sure his employees were safe. And so you could tell he was bummed out, but he made the right decision closing because he wanted to make sure his staff were never at risk until he had something in place to keep them safe.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So from what I recall, I wanted to order something, but I just couldn't leave the house. They do have when it was happening a couple of months ago, they did have sort of a measure in place where people can do curbside pickup. A lot of stores were doing that. So their online store was going pretty well still, and then you could still, if you choose to go down to the store, you could still do curbside pickup, but you couldn't enter the physical store. So that was their measures in place. Now they've changed it to now you could enter the store from the comments that Ken made. He said that you could they can only allow 1 to 2 people at a time in the store. So if you have any tech related questions or anything, you have to wait in line. Basically, I'm sure there's a lot of people dying to go to the store there. Let me share you a comment of what Ken provided me here. You guys can see it there on the chat as well. Let me just pull it up here. There we go. So basically, lots of things are different before now. After 2 months shut down, the store only. Oh, did we lose someone?
Oh.
No, we're good. Yep. So after
Okay.
2 months of shutting down, the store only works online. We should be going to be
Sorry.
hard time for us to join, but actually better than we thought. We need to thank our customers still keeping support for us. That makes us able to survive and even stronger than before. We even find new directions and goals in the future. But sadly, we had to cancel or postpone a lot of plans this year as well. For example, Crossfire 2, we and Omega Ops are planning this for so long, and we are all so excited for the event coming. But sadly, we had to cancel. So that's in regards to the cancellation of the Crossfire event. We discussed that last week, and yeah, we were all pretty sad. For the reopening storefront, we had a few, actually quite lots of changes: masks, sanitizers, etc. We had to limit the showroom space. Put up the epoxy glass. Yep, that's pretty regular for a lot of stores now. I'm sure you've seen it. Also, customers testing the product is not available. That's kind of sad for us. Because
I won't lie, that's a big factor.
that's a
for
big
us at
factor for
Airsoft.
going down to the store, but I understand why. And
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, but for the purpose is to stay safe and protect all other customers. And he also mentions that Trigger is planning something big for the community, or Airsoft community. Is going to be a whole new different level experience for players, but we're going to keep that a secret until the time is right. So there's a little bit of an exclusive, sneak peek of what Ken's trying to do for Trigger. Other than
Well,
that,
and knowing the guys behind all that, they're probably planning something really good. I know that they always like to tease the community a little bit, coming by, with the big group. You see them off into the field doing something, but you know they won't exactly
Good.
tell you. So I'm waiting. I'm excited.
yeah,
Yeah,
no,
you got Jeff
it's
trying
good to
make
get
a
that excitement
video.
going, especially at these hard times where everybody's stuck at home and nothing else to do, and of course the canceled events that we we receive. Like it's
Exactly. That took a big hit for us, and
yeah, it
with
took
the
a big
border
hit for us.
closure,
Um,
not having anything here was a yeah.
so what does this mean for other stores then? So I don't know if you guys shop around. I do shop around for a lot of accessories and anything not locally but online in Ontario, like Toronto Airsoft, Airsoft Depot.
Mhm.
What does this mean for other stores?
But isn't that the point? You shop at Toronto, you shop at Evike and whatnot, and you shopped online anyway.
Yeah.
Trigger gave the extra service before COVID, being able to check it stuff out and whatnot. Things changed. They're now in the online realm, but they're still the local store. You
Yep.
should still buy from them regardless
Oh,
of
heck
being
yeah.
buy local concept.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
But it's like that way now it's no longer I can go down to the storefront, which to be honest now you can again.
Yeah.
But if someone was to shop Toronto herself versus Trigger, they're not shopping locally, and it kind of changes the dynamic when it comes to who gets the money. Like Toronto Airsoft has not once like sponsored any event out here, whereas Trigger has sponsored numerous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
the more
that is
money they make, the more they'll spend money on making events in BC.
So there you go. I mean, supporting your local store basically supports your local community, and that's why we have this talk show so that we can talk about, all the stuff locally here. That's basically
Exactly.
it. Like, if we talk about Toronto Airsoft, they're not sponsoring a lot of stuff here, or Airsoft Depot or anything like that. Like, they're great stores. Stuff is available, but you also got a local store here that supports our community really well.
Well, exactly, and I'm not gonna lie, I do have some quibbles about other, retailers and stuff like that. And I'm sure that we all do. And just on my opinion on that is that if the item's available at your local store, why not go there? Shipping is horrendous when it comes to airsoft stuff. Like I'm sure numerous people have gone into that position where you buy like a $5 piece and they throw $30 shipping onto that. So if it's available locally, I highly recommend going to your local store. It's the way to save money, and we're all cheapos. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah. No, you know what? that's where you and me are different, Tack, right there off the bat. Okay, because the reason I'm going into the brick and mortar store, and I don't care if it's $5 more than what Amazon, or don't even tell me Wish. Okay, I'm so sick and tired of looking at all that stuff. It's like it's like PVS 14s for $147. Like, no, I'm not even gonna look at this. Okay, but
I
like
want someone to
the
try that.
reason.
I'm down to try it. I'm down to try it.
We'll do it as a video, okay?
Because what if you actually get
Wait.
PVS 14s?
Wish reviews. Airsoft Wish reviews, eh? Wow,
I
guys.
mean, somebody shot some plates the other month, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh yeah, those level 5 plates.
Yeah.
level 5, yeah. Okay, but my point being, sorry, is that I don't care if it's $5 more to purchase an item that I can see online or something like that. I myself have always been, probably always will be, fuck you, Corona. Just the type of person that really likes to kind of get out there and really grab something and have a feel for it and stuff. And especially if this is the kind of, like, sport and hobby that we play, where it comes down to a lot of ergonomics and making sure movement, mobility, trying clothes on, trying gear on, holding a pistol in your hand, gripping a rifle. Like, unfortunately, COVID's really put a lot of strain on a lot of stores and retailers and everywhere, but we're going to slowly bounce back from this. Fingers crossed. And yeah, like that's who I am. So I'm always going to help and try and support the local stores, just because I'm the type of person that likes going in there. And I'm impatient as heck. So I am not going to wait even if I were to pay the express shipping, like, cost or whatever to get here, like, I would just rather, it's an experience for me. So that's where I come from.
So yeah, for me, it's sort of between you and or Mac and Tack. For me, I like to shop online because I know I'm gonna get the greatest rates, but I also like to take a feel for the product. Get a look at it. See if it fits me. If not, then I don't like it and such. Being a gas blowback user, I do like to play around with it a lot.
Yeah.
In terms of that, like, I do realize the pros and cons for both of you, but like the biggest issue I always have when shopping in a local brick and mortar store is availability.
Yes.
They'll say
Yeah.
something's in stock, you go there, and then it's not in stock, and then I go, oh man, I came all the way here, I thought it was here. I could have called the store and asked them if it was there, and such.
But
That takes out half the fun.
Yeah. In terms of supply and
Also
demand,
happens
like,
online, though.
in terms of supply and demand for products, like, I understand if a store does not sell this product really well, or like, for me especially, Wii parts, right? As a gas blowback user, they're not gonna order those parts because of the fact that only one person wants it, right?
Yeah.
So I would much rather go directly to someone from, like, abroad, or China or Taiwan, let's say, and order it directly from them, knowing that I know what part I need. They're not gonna hold like a single like gas blowback pin or something, or some sort of Wii nozzle specifically for that model. They're not gonna hold that. I understand that. But for me, my frustration in shopping is like, oh man, it's not available here, I guess I'm gonna go online. And that's pretty much how everybody does it in BC. Also, the fact that certain items take forever, like hot product in SHOT Show or in Taiwan comes out all the way over there.
Yep.
And then what? We have to wait like 1 year, 1.5 years for it to come over here, right? So there's
Even longer sometimes, right? Just because of our FPS
so
rules.
that's my only sort of issue with brick and mortar stores, is like, yeah, they take a while. I understand that, like, Trigger has to run a business, and all these other stores have to run a business. They have to, there's some risk involved into shipping in things, and then it's gonna sit on their shelves for a while. And yeah, it's hard to say what it is that like, I'll shop online, yes, but I still like to go to the local store, to get my BB, to get my gas, to get just gear in general, like wearing stuff, see if it fits. It American size is a size, like, gear is
totally
always
different.
different. So that's
Yeah.
the biggest struggle there. Yeah.
All of a sudden, those tack pants do not look tactical.
Yeah, like like an
More like a
Emerson large
snack.
is more like is more like a medium.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I ran into
Yeah.
that problem once before. It's just like, oh, this is made in China. This will be great. Oh, no, not gonna
Hey,
work out.
Tack, weren't you wearing a shirt earlier? And it's like, yeah, I was.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah, that's
falls
the greatest
apart.
thing about going to like let's say like Poco Military or something. They have a great selection of
mhm.
military clothing there. By the
So
way,
good.
yeah, you guys should visit them too if you need BDUs or anything like that. They're at Langley. Um,
Mhm,
yeah, so like supply and demand like that is like
mhm.
a must for brick and mortar stores, but it's also hard to manage.
Ellie, do you got anything
Yeah,
to
you
add
got anything
to
to add to
that?
this?
Well,
Because like for
I'm
you,
gonna point out the obvious bias. Brick and mortar store, the Mac and Tack are gonna prefer that because they have one. Um, so they can't really say they prefer online because they are quite literally the opposite of this conversation right now. I can give Tack the credit. We were just talking about the fact that he's making an online presence for it, and
Yeah. Like, we
kudos.
want to step on there. We want to step on there. Small fish in a big pond
Mhm.
here, but
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, I totally get the whole bias part on that, and it's just like I do like buying stuff online and whatnot, and it's like obviously there's tons of stuff that you can't get in your local stores and stuff like that. It's sort of like what you're saying, Poi, about your Wii
Mhm,
products and stuff like that. And
mhm,
I feel a part of that also comes from the fact that our community isn't as large, like Elliot was saying, right? The size of BC is the size of the UK, and every square kilometer, there's probably like 3 or 4 stores. Tons of people playing. So obviously, parts availability sort of comes into a play with that because there aren't as many buyers. So I feel as the community grows, that's sort of going to change sort of for us over here. I feel like Trigger is going to be able to expand its inventory a lot more. I know that this coming summer, they brought in some gas blowback rifles from the Poseidon line. I
Yeah,
know that that's gas blowback is starting to become a really popular option for people. Everyone likes the cool factor. I'm not gonna lie, it got me.
me.
It's
Yep.
got yeah, it's got Poi. So there's that, and but I think that one of the biggest cons I find with brick and mortar stores is that products can stay there for a really long time. They can say that it's in stock. You go to the store and you check it out, and it's like, oh, this is why it's in stock. It's like it's been there for however long and it hasn't been changed or replaced. It should be really tossed out and stuff like that, or it's damaged. So
or it's
I
not as
totally
good as it looks. Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
But then
Or
that
it's
also turns out
broken.
to be exactly,
Yeah.
but also that turns into a pro as well because you're physically seeing it and stuff like that. I know that my biggest disappointment is ordering something online and then getting it. And obviously, there's returns and warranty policies and stuff like that, but man, everyone, you've dealt with it. It's a sticky, thing to get into sometimes, especially when it comes to really expensive airsoft equipment. So, that's where, sort of I lie in that factory. I get it, I got a bias because I own a store, but
okay, but what about the fact that you can order stuff online and they can say it's in stock? You order it, you find out it's not in stock, and then you don't find out for 2 weeks anyway.
so on that factor, me personally, that's shady business practice. You should. We're in the 21st century. Technology is amazing. There's no way that you can't have some sort of real time inventory checker and stuff like that to make sure that it's reflective of what your actual inventory is. It's like that's a big piss off too. Where you sit there, you order something, next thing you know, 8 weeks have gone by. You contact them, they say, oh, it's on its way, it's been shipped, and you wait another 8 weeks and still nothing. So
Or you're
definitely.
waiting and it's just still never, ever, ever, ever there.
Funny that you mentioned that. There was a
Yeah,
complaint for Hero Outdoors and the Better Business Bureau. What's your
finally.
take on that?
I did see that topic show up in the Facebook groups there.
Yeah.
I don't know, Elliot, what's your take on that?
Okay, I'm all for people airing their concerns about a company and whatnot. And if
Hmm.
it was one complaint, I'd be like, okay, maybe not. They got a lot of complaints, and that was the problem. So it wasn't an isolated incident. I've had complaints against me with Panther. It happens. You get someone who's upset, they'll complain. They do what they want. Someone even said they're going to report me to Better Business Bureau for whatever reason. I don't even recall. It was something because I didn't let them break the rules. So
Yeah, that's a whole nother episode right there, buddy.
yeah, but
darn.
they had enough complaints that Better Business Bureau is actually investigating now, and they've asked for a response from them to figure it out. It takes a little while to get to that point. Like,
well, yeah, and guys, there's memes for a reason. Okay, memes don't come out of nowhere, guys. Look at your feeds right now. Okay, all these memes are for a reason. We're way beyond those generic memes. Okay, you guys remember those generic memes? Like, like it's not.
Yeah,
we're not there anymore.
It's
We're
become
not
a point where when you say Hero Outdoors, you're like, oh, you're never gonna get your stuff. That's what it translates to now. And
exactly.
You see what happens online when someone's like, "Should I buy from Hero Outdoors?" People will jump in within a minute and be like, "Do not buy a damn thing from them."
Exactly. Your experience should I hope everyone else can avoid that experience.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, here I'm devil's advocate here because I've ordered off of Hero and I have received a product
No
from
way.
Hero. And mind you, I got the product within a week of its shipping date. So when I see all this stuff online, I kind of have to sit there and be like, okay, and I get it. Like Elliot's saying, when you hear a lot of complaints and stuff like that, it kind of makes you wonder. But at the same time, my anecdotal experiences is that would I order from them again? Yes, in the sense that the specific part that I was looking for was available. Obviously, I did my due diligence in calling them, confirming that they had it. I got picture, reference photos and stuff like that. But I got it, and fortunately, I'm devil's advocate on this one here.
But why did you do that? Why did you phone them to confirm their stock was accurate?
Because that's what I do for the products that I'm looking for.
But did you know? Were you worried that you weren't gonna get your order?
See, he was. Yeah.
So no, and this is the funny thing is that I didn't. I was going through another party, and so it just happened to be coming from Hero Outdoors. But regardless of that, it still came from Hero Outdoors. I still paid money. I got all the tracking information and everything, and I got it within a reasonable time frame. So
you know what? I'm calling this, guys. Okay, he's my brother, and right now what he's doing is he's a horse that's strapping a horn on the top of his head, and he's calling himself a unicorn. Okay, no Hero, don't do that to other people, and anyone that's watching, just don't do it. Find it somewhere else. That's it. That's it. Find
Personally, I haven't ordered anything from Hero, knowing what's happening in the community. So that's basically how I tread, in that topic.
Well, and that's the thing. I can't honestly say like, "Hey, don't buy from them ever again," because I don't want. Someone made a business. I don't want to ruin their business.
Yeah.
Until he changes his business practice, I can say, "Don't shop with him."
Yeah, and
the changes of business practice, I'm in. I'll try it, man. But right now, I've got a lot of people. 1,000 people saying no, one person saying yes. Thanks, Tack. When it's 1,001 saying yes, I'll try it. But you got to break your own trend.
Yeah. When you get a complaint, a company should do something about it. Like, especially that much complaints.
Yeah, I need to see Blackblitz reviews. Okay, if I'm not getting Blackblitz level reviews, then
everybody knows that meme.
Okay, like I love you, Blackblitz. I haven't ordered anything from you yet, but I trust that if I do, fucking Blackblitz.
Okay, for those that don't know that meme, Blackblitz is known for their incredible customer service to the point they literally print memes and put them in the gun boxes.
Yeah.
There you go.
I knew they would come in handy.
Wait, was that from an order?
No, I ordered some of my Daytona parts, and as some people might know, Hidden Gem, Daytona, and Blackblitz, I believe, work in the same building, or at least everyone is all together. So one of the kicking jokes is, actually, if you take a look, it says Daytona on there, but if you look very carefully, it's actually an original Blackblitz meme.
Uh, well, there you go. That's like, you have stores like that literally ride on their own memes, and then you got Hero Outdoors, which doesn't do anything. So you got, you got, like we're talking about stores, and they're surviving, based on the community that they're in, and as well as like the people that they serve, right?
They're
Yeah.
definitely using the tools available to kind of keep with the times and the trends and stuff like that, and that's very important because not specifically airsoft related, but with the whole COVID thing, there are many businesses closing, and I am
Yeah.
really thankful that our hobby businesses are staying alive, just because for them to close would be a huge hit to the whole community and stuff like that, and then we'd be subject to customs forever from Evike and whatnot. So
Not necessarily. The BC Airsoft is actually its own little bubble world. Just think
Really?
every time we have lost something, somebody else has brought it back. So you
mhm,
have we people started having like airsoft privately. They bought guns out of Japan and whatnot, and then there was law changes and whatnot. Companies popped up. Companies died. Another company popped up. Trigger
Mhm.
survived the longest, but
Yep.
it's always going to be more people being like, "I can make money on this now. No one else is making money on this."
mhm.
The airsoft community is very entrepreneurial when they want to be, when they're not busy hating each other for whatever reason they choose that week.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
isn't that yeah?
Yeah, stop judging my kit.
That's never gonna end, my friend. That's never gonna end.
Like, look, I play for functionality, okay? Like, God.
All right, I think that's a good segue to our next topic. Do we have anything else for stores reopening and stores in general in BC and around Canada?
Well, I guess just to end off with the whole BBB thing, it's like I know that the BBB doesn't actually have any real authority, but it's sort of like a good psychological thing. So if Hero can get past this whole thing and get that seal of approval, I be what Elliott's saying, right? That'll be the stepping stone to bring back trust in with everyone. So with
It'll be
that,
tough though. They're a small
I
You
business.
got
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah.
They'd have,
if they're gonna like make the Better Business Bureau happy, they have to address each complaint, refund the money. As a small business, they can't afford that. They'll never make
yeah.
them
No,
happy again.
no.
wow. Okay, now we know.
It's either that or a really killer meme.
Yeah, a meme might save them. Like
I'm
an
just
original meme
saying,
from that.
like,
You never know.
well,
You never
I'm
know.
just saying, like, here, hey, it's Hero. We finally, here's your order. Like, like, I don't know. Don't take my advice. Don't- I'm not ordering from you. I ain't. Don't take my.
All right, I think you're pretty much preset on that. All right. Okay, let's move on to our next topic here. It is I think this one's a hotly debated one too. Real steel versus airsoft replica gear.
Mm.
Is it worth getting real steel version versus, let's say, like a Condor or something like that? What's your take on that, guys?
I'm so glad
What?
Adam isn't here to roast you guys right now.
Hey, it's okay. You know what? Don't worry.
It's all right. He's more than welcome to join us at some point, but I
I'd
don't
like
know.
to have. I'd like to have him on.
I'm not
I'd like
sure if
to
the
have
fans will be able to handle that.
him. Yeah, I don't think people are ready for his level of criticism.
Yeah, not
No,
yet.
no one ever is.
I
But
mean,
I guess
like I walk away from the field already crying inside. Like I said, like when I said stop judging my kit, I'm talking to Adam. Stop judging my kit.
well,
So
okay.
what is
Well, Mac, I guess do you want to start with that on your
Okay.
opinion on Real Steel versus Airsoft Replica?
Okay, well, okay. So right off the bat, I totally understand the benefits, right? Like, yeah, it's great gear. Yeah, it's durable. Yeah, it's gonna last you. Do I need everything to be real steel? That's where you and I differ, bro. Okay? Like, I know you, we've talked all the time, and like, if we look at tax kit versus my kit and stuff like that,
Hey, hold on. We're not comparing each other right now. You're giving your opinion. We'll get to
yeah.
that later.
Yeah, okay, well, sorry. Well, yeah, we will. Well, just my opinion is it definitely has its pros and cons and stuff like that. Like, I do definitely enjoy the look and the feel of some of those real steel plate carriers out there. I have been interested in myself at getting some, you know. If it's about justifying the cost to me. That's about it. Yeah, you know. other than that, it's like, can I play? Can I have fun? And I'm starting to kind of tread I'm starting to tread down that Milsom trail, and it's like, oh god, wow, this is a really deep rabbit hole. And then when you start getting into real steel, and then you're all like, yo, you're telling me I have to buy this and I'm not even a real soldier? What is going on? Like, where is the government to buy this?
Like
$42,000? That's a house. Or sorry, that's a car, not a house. We live in
Yeah, I wish.
Vancouver. I was gonna say
Not-
that's a down payment.
Not even that
Not
anymore,
even.
man.
No, not even
No,
that
you
anymore.
can't even put. Oh wow! So that's literally just a truck. That's a new truck.
Okay, there we go. There you go. We
There you
found
go.
our
We
baseline.
found it. There you
Let's
go.
just
found
we're
the
gonna.
baseline.
It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
truck right there. Truck
Yeah.
or night vision, you choose.
Okay, but I get thing like same deal. Like my camo, all MTP stuff, is lit. I love it, but then I wear a condor rig on top of it. It's just that little bit of what the hell are you doing? It looks gross. Enjoy the hell out of it. Like I can put my hands in, I keep it warm, can hang on it. It's really sturdy, even though it's the cheapest gear on the market.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I've got the cheapest rig sitting on top of expensive camo, and it's just like, I guess I'm just an anomaly that just wants to make it look trashy because I enjoy the look. Sometimes I just don't even wear half the camo. I just wear a hoodie. But that's the thing. You can do that. You can just save money and put a condor rig on top of your Gucci gear. Or you can go full Gucci gear and you can spend the money and wait till someone coughs on it. And you're like, I don't want to wear this anymore.
Gotta get that big dick energy.
It's BDE, by the way.
Yeah.
So basically, what we're all coming down to is you wear Gucci gear, you wear all these real steel gear. You're basically, are we just saying you're just showing off, or are you
Yeah,
actually gonna
100%.
do it for the range? Because if you show up in airsoft wearing Gucci gear, like when I see it, people tend to wear really nice gear, but they don't want to do like go prone. They don't want to get inside that mud. You know how muddy Panther gets on like
Oh
a
yeah.
rainy day.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna, they don't want to jump in there.
But like, what, you
but
get issued CAD
that's
PAT stuff and it's got the IR on it. It's like nobody's using that kind of technology that the IR and the real CAD PAT means anything. It means nothing. You can get the repro.
well, there's a lot of people that disagree on that because they are going for impression kits at that point. Like there is at that point where they do want to get the real stuff so that it's what they live by basically. And then there's and then you have the other side of the camp, which is just regular airsofter playing every day, and they probably have a job that doesn't pay much anyway, or they do have jobs that pay a lot, but they'd rather spend it on like their guns and stuff or other things in life.
Girlfriends.
There's
Let's not kid ourselves here. They don't have girlfriends.
Tax still never met yours. You can't claim that.
Apparently my girlfriend doesn't exist to you guys.
but
Well, I mean,
anyways,
your girlfriend will change my opinion.
but that's that. Anyway, so we're talking about the two different camps, right? You got people who are going for impression kits and they have to get that gear or else it doesn't match, versus people that play every day. And then for us, we're probably in between because we do like the expensive gear because like something like an Arc'teryx, like Leaf sort of gear, or 511s even. Like they're comfy. I like them. Okay. I'll spend the extra money just for that comfort, or or for something for me to use.
And you see those guys at the field that are showing up lately here, the last or just before COVID too, and then with the reopening too, you got the UF Pro, and then you got you got I see T-Rex arms stuff on our field, and I see the T-Rex arms loadouts. Okay, everyone out there, I don't care. I don't care who started it. I don't care who does it. You're wearing plaid. You're wearing that ball cap, and you're rocking like a JPC or something like that. You're rocking a Lewis bot, and I'm like, okay. There's too many of you on the field right now. I saw like 7 the other weekend. Okay.
So moving into like Gucci gear to like all that, like what's the benefit of using like Gucci gear to begin with? Like, is it just for the comfort? Like we already talked about, like it's just for style points at that point.
Hmm.
But they do
Well,
exactly the same thing as their airsoft counterpart, but cheaper.
there are perks, right? Like you can get like the knee pad built-in ones. I'm going to butcher the names, but um, then you can get just basic pants that don't have knee pads built in. What are you going to be more comfortable sliding on your knee with? You don't want to tear your kneecap off. Anyone who's been around airsoft long enough saw the video of the guy that did that. So
Hmm.
you
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely want the knee
Oof.
pads, and you want
Yeah.
it something to not fail while you're sliding. So
Mhm.
if the gear is good and it's Gucci, great. You'll save yourself a lot of pain. If you're buying it just for Gucci looks, also cool. But if you ain't going to use it and you're just like, well, I didn't know what else to buy, shop around, get someone a bit cheaper.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, I guess
Well,
for me on that topic specifically, it's just like because I have like a lot of differing opinions on that, but it really depends on the play style. It really depends on what you're looking for at it. Like, as you guys talked about impressionists and stuff like that, I understand. They want by means of impression, they want to exactly have the same kit as as a soldier does. But at the same time, those guys also have to jump through a lot of hoops and stuff like that to get what they get. My opinions on that are, as long as you're not taking anything that's needed by the military at this current time. Canada's military is very poor. So you want to do sort of like old kit, or you want to do like repro, stuff, close repros. I know it's really hard to get to exact stuff, and when it comes to repro, it comes down to the quality concern again, right? Like some people might joke around with it, and a lot of people will probably, talk down upon it, because soldiers are in one condition and we're out in another condition, right? But at the same time, we're playing in our gear, we're moving around, we're wearing into it, we're using it, and we're all going to have our, opinions and reviews on certain equipment. And when it comes to the commercial version of airsoft, I would, have no problem saying getting a Condor chest rig. I'm not going to say go get a Cry AVS because that's what you need to play airsoft when, and stuff like that. It's like, no, go get like a Condor chest rig, hold 4 to 6 megs and get out there and play, because that's what it is for airsoft, is, to play. And when it comes to the whole real steel and kit and stuff like that, it just comes to how you want to present yourself, what you see the value in of the gear. Obviously, there's tons of people out there. I know there's a couple guys who come to Panther who specifically practice dry firing, right? And I know that those guys are doing airsoft to increase their firearms training abilities, where they don't have to, waste ammunition
And
and stuff like that.
that
And can,
justifies the real steel purchases right there, because they're using dry fire techniques, using airsoft, and then transitioning it
Mhm.
over to real steel firearms.
Well, exactly. And the cool thing is that, if you have a P226 or whatever it is, airsoft gun, right, and you have a P226 Kydex holster, it's gonna work for both of them, because that's what the airsoft is, and it's a really cool factor about that. And so there's real benefits to that. But again, it comes down to the individual, what the purpose of the kit is and stuff like that, right? Like if I'm going to a milsim and I want to look a certain part, impressions aside, I'll try to, emulate the kit as best as possible, because there's also some laws and loopholes that you have to avoid doing that stuff. Um, and then at the same time, affordability is the really big thing. It's just like, do I want to spend 10 G's? Just throwing that out there. Obviously it's not 10 G's, but do you want to be spending, huge amounts of your money to be able to go to these events to look a certain thing where you're only going to do it once? You know what I mean? Like, that brings on to another thing too. It's like, how long are you going to be playing airsoft? Are you buying this stuff and then you're just going to leave it in your closet for 6 months of the year and stuff like that, which then just it makes you a poor. You know what I mean? Like, the term poor, when it relates to airsoft, doesn't mean that you are a poor person. As gun gamers mentioned, it means that you have poor judgment. It's like some guy goes, you know what I mean? Like, you're going to
Yep.
an event, Milsim, You have an option to buy a flashlight or the really expensive NVGs. You can afford the flashlight, you can't afford the NVGs, but you go buy the NVGs anyway, right? That's being poor, you know? Like why'd you do that?
No, that's never being poor. Yo, come on. You got to send it for the MVGs.
Sure, well, of course, but at the same time, you
Boy,
can be
that
just
was
as
a
effective.
terrible
You
example.
can be just as effective with a flashlight. You know what I mean? So it's just like I'm talking about from a personal point of view. You know, you don't need to put yourself into a hole because you know
Did,
want to
did
look super cool.
did this man just say flashlight equals night vision?
No,
Yeah, right. Like I was
no,
like,
oh
it's like
no, no,
I
no.
need you to stop and walk back everything you just said for the last 2 minutes. Okay, that was the worst compare. Why flashlight to NVGs? Really? I
Because you
will.
can still see in
I
the
will.
dark with a flashlight.
People mortgage their
In a
houses.
cone. You can see in
People
a
mortgage
cone with a
their houses.
flashlight, dude.
Well,
Like,
sure, but then you got dumbasses who walk around with Gen 2 NVGs and you can see their backsplash no problem.
Yes,
yeah,
no, 100%,
you can,
100%.
and that's poor usage. But there's no
That's
time
poor.
where I can use a flashlight and be like, hopefully no one sees it. Everybody's seeing the flashlight.
All right,
Unless
I'm gonna
Yeah.
unless
I'll
it's
stop there.
IR.
'Cause
Unless
I'm just
it's
getting
IR, and then it's just the guys at the NVGs, not even
yeah,
yourself.
yeah.
So you're like basically saying like,
This.
hey,
Okay,
I
okay, I
think
get it.
this dives into another topic of NVG and flashlights. I think we'll steer
Yeah,
clear of
yeah,
that one.
yeah. We can bring that up on a different day. You guys
Yeah.
are Swiss cheese me here, okay? I'm dying.
I didn't mean to set you up. Man.
Don't
Oh
worry,
my God.
Tack. You're not. I'm not gonna let you buy NVGs now. You're a flashlight guy.
Yeah, you're a flashlight guy, okay, Tech. But getting back to
Flashlight
the
guy.
topic though, right? Is just like it's just real steel versus airsoft stuff, you know? Like for the guys that are out there that are like questioning it, you know, thinking about it, like, you know, obviously we've laid out a couple of pros and cons that we see, and obviously that there are gonna be things that you see, you know, and obviously, you know, budget being one of the biggest things out there, guys. It's like, you know, like Elliot's saying, like we're all saying, guys, it's like have to go and put yourself in night vision debt, like Tack is apparently comparing other people to. But you know, if you want to go and get cry, buy once and cry once. You know, get it over with. If you're gonna, you know, rock the repro stuff or gonna, you know, rock the lighter look. I mean, basically the end of it is just you know, whether you're going to go get the real steel or whether you're going to go get the airsoft stuff, it does come down to the individual, right? Like we each have our own differing opinions, like Poi and I both were saying versus Tack and versus like Elliott, right? I really like to walk the middle, because you know it's like I am trying to start that impressionist route where it's like, okay, I can kind of see how deep that rabbit hole goes, and I'm kind of scared at the bill at the end of the road. But then I also see where Elliott comes from, and it's like I have the most fun when I get to just, you know, I throw on a chest rig, and I, you know, and I run a Polar Star. So like, you know, I go out there and I just ruin everyone's day, right? And except I'm having a rocking time.
You break my heart, dude.
Yeah, you know. Oh
I'm
man.
just saying, I don't go out there often, so it's like, you know, when people see me, it's all like, oh god, oh god.
I'm just saying the way you worded it made it sound like every other person's issue with HPA. I go out there and ruin people's day.
Yeah, like
We were
thanks
just talking
for
about HPA.
thanks for reinforcing the stereotype against HPA players.
Yeah,
Thanks.
dude, we're terrible.
No, not at
No,
all.
oh man, trigger spam, full auto, semi.
Uh,
Have you ever seen my double speed trigger, man? Like
no,
paintball,
if,
bringing
if for,
paintball back, baby.
for everyone listening, this is the
Leave it
specific
in the
reason why
past.
I've limited max gun to 1 joule.
All
Just
right.
so
Yeah,
everyone.
if anyone has any questions about my gun, please talk to my gun tech. Um, I have a lot of people asking me, how do I get it to shoot that far? How do I get it to shoot that quiet? How does it hurt? How does it not hurt? Whatever questions that you may ask, I don't know.
If you're that curious, I'd suggest checking Airsoft Canada first.
Okay, I'm just kidding around. I'm not that dumb. I know how to take the gun apart.
All right. I think we've talked enough about real steel versus airsoft replica there.
Yeah.
You guys were talking about, you know, your Polar Stars and all that fun jazz. That could segue into our next topic here, which is the bang bang rule and a minimum engagement distance. Now, this is a
That's a
fun
sweet
topic.
topic.
Fun topic for Panther especially. Now, let's go straight to
Yeah,
Elliot
Elliot,
on
you
this
can
one.
spearhead
Tell
this
us
one.
Okay.
what is Panther's ruling on minimum engagements.
Okay, so the
It feels
bang
like I'm
bang
at
rule.
feels like I'm at an airsoft game now because he's telling us
Yeah.
the rules.
All right. Okay, so the rule when it comes to bang bang is we don't allow bang bang rules at Panther. It is a mercy rule. Mercy is a 6-foot engagement where you offer mercy. Man, I'm done. I do this on the weekends. I'm not doing it right now. Okay. Okay.
Come on, you
So
had the
the
flow down.
I know I did, but I'm like I've got to do this for the next like 3 days. So
You gotta save what you got left, right?
Yeah.
okay, so the mercy rule is what we use. It's pretty simple. It's you go up within 6 feet at the moment because of 6-foot social distancing. We're smart like that. Instead of the 5-foot standard where it's like you point a gun, you shout mercy, you give an option for them to take a mercy by not getting shot. They don't take the mercy within 2 seconds. You can shoot them. If they turn, you can shoot them. If you try mercy a group of people, they do not all have to take the mercy. That's the problem with the bang bang rule. I can go in with the lower half of my gun without any upper receiver and go bang bang. You have to take it. The bang bang rule is not a contestable rule. So it's like you look at the guy and you're like, you have a lower receiver. How does that count? Well, bang bang rule says it counts. It's arrogance. I hate the rule. Whereas the mercy rule is who's faster, who got the drop, who's smarter, that kind of stuff. That's why a mercy rule should exist and not bang bang.
And I'd also like to add that when you're doing a mercy, when you mercy someone at the front, what does that mean for both
Yeah.
It
players?
is an okay, so it's an open declaration of engagement. So when you shout mercy when you're face like say I'm 6 feet away from your point and I shout mercy.
Yep.
If you don't have your gun pointed at me at that time, you have a chance to say okay, I surrender, or just okay, put your hand up, that kind of stuff. But it's also letting you know that right now I'm about to shoot you at pretty much point blank range, and you also have been given clearance to shoot me by me getting close enough to shout mercy. I could have stayed a few feet back and said I'm going to shoot you, or just start shooting at you, all that stuff. I chose to get that close, so mercy also releases my complaint of saying you shot me too close because I chose to get close. Shout mercy, giving you the option to shoot me at point blank too.
So it's contestable at Panther then when both
Yes.
people, one of them says mercy and then the other one shoots back.
Yeah, exactly. So
Then
all
you
it is
when
an
you
open
shoot
declaration.
at him and he shoots back at you, I think that's where major complaints come from Panther as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
And just to state it out, when you contest a mercy, you're basically asking to get shot.
Yeah, 100%.
That's pretty much
yeah.
100% what it means. If you're gonna come complain
Pretty
about
much.
it, then that's a different issue. Like,
That one thing I would say is please don't tell people when you're in the field like, oh, I never take a mercy, because the person you just said that to has no clue who the hell you are. So saying it means nothing. They're not going to be like, all right, so that guy at 9 a.m. on the 5th of June 2020 said he doesn't take mercies.
yeah.
Well,
the guy in multicam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Well, so that's a good point actually that you bring up because a lot of people say that and go off of that basis. Now, I understand, with the way Panthers run, right? You have rentals showing up and stuff like that. So, that's a major factor where that comes into play, where it gives new players the opportunity to sort of ease into CQC because it can be really scary. And like you said, getting shot by a gun, really close, or an airsoft gun really close, can suck sometimes. And just being a regular and seeing regulars and stuff like that, as the community grows, I'm sure you're going to know and find out those kinds of people, because yes, like Elliot said, there's going to be people out there who say, oh, I don't take mercy, right? And you're going to know who those people are because you're going to be playing with them all the time, in which case then get right up to him and shoot him in the ass.
Yep.
I do it to my friends all the time, Mac especially, actually. So it's like, if you see a kid and stuff like that, right, and you're an adult, like, come on, offer the mercy. Don't be a dick, obviously, right? If the kid's playing airsoft, you want to keep him into airsoft, you don't want to scare him away, shooting him with some CO2 pistol, less than 6 feet away. If you're going to get shot, no big deal. It's airsoft, suck it up, play the next game, seriously. But, speaking of the sort of minimum engagement of the mercy bang bang thing, it's like, I don't know about you, but I seem to see people not understanding what distance is. I feel like people's perspective on what 6 feet is varies quite often.
well, the easiest way to do it with guys is you say what height you think you are.
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like, and for me, it's like I've been on the other end of that before too, where I've had someone try to mercy me 20 feet away. And it's just like, are you
What?
serious? Yeah, oh yeah, this happened to me one time. I won't lie, I lost to it, right? I contested it obviously, but I was really like, I you know I half didn't get the guy because I was a little confused, right? It was when we were playing in the summer home game. We were doing capture the summer home. I happened to be one of the guys defending it, and I was obviously, me. I was hiding in the bush, and this guy just happened to see me because I wasn't looking the right way, and he yells "mercy" at me from 20 feet away. And so when I looked at him, I was just like, "Oh shit!" And I was just like, but he somehow managed to shoot me and stuff like that, and I guess I didn't manage to hit him. But regardless, it's like situations like that where it really sort of muddies the
Yeah.
the use
No,
of
I
it
get
and
you.
stuff,
Yeah, I get you.
right?
Mhm.
Because like it should be used for, now mind you, I can see the abuse for it because I do know people abuse it, and just like Elliot said, if you go bang bang or mercy into a big room of people and they're all there, you're Swiss cheese, man. You're Swiss cheese. Like
It's a lot of guns
maybe,
pointed at you.
yeah, maybe one
Mhm.
kid will say, "Oh yeah, you hit me and you get that one," but there's no way you're taking more than two guys out, by
Mhm.
doing that.
Well, and it shouldn't be something that should be like sorry, I was gonna say, well, yeah, no, confrontational. You know what I mean? Like I understand it being contestable, right?
Mhm.
But this should mercy and those kinds of things should definitely be something where it's either you're approaching a young kid or for me, like I always feel bad when I when I shoot somebody's girlfriend or shoot somebody's mom or something like that. It's like, oh god, I just nailed her in the back of the head or something like that. But you know though, like basically what I'm trying to say is just like the fact that it's kind of like an out of respect kind of thing. If I come up to a little kid from behind him and like I've definitely got the drop on him, I'm not gonna stand there 10 feet away and I'm well within my right to shoot him, whereas I could just come up to him within that engagement distance and say like and give him the chance, right? Because mind you, okay, this is my story. I've given mercies to kids and they've gotten the drop on me because they're quicker and they're faster, and I'm getting old.
Same.
It's sad. It's sad, man. I had a it's like I really hope nobody takes this out of context because this sounds bad. I had a pistol pointed at a child, and I was like, mercy. And I didn't even notice that he had his pistol under his arm already pointing at me, and he shot. And I was like, what? This was supposed to go one way and it went 180 degrees, like,
The kid was
wow.
ready.
Yeah, child soldiers here. Like, yeah. Yeah, ready to
Oh
go.
man.
Like, yeah, but so like I definitely understand the necessity and I really appreciate the way that Elliott and Panther itself is set up
Mhm.
how we can play safely, just
Yeah,
with this because I have had experience playing down in the States before, TAC, when we went there and
at
stuff
the
like
at the
that.
CQB ones, yeah.
Yeah, well, we went to the one down in Vancouver, Washington, the
Mhm.
Thunderdome there. That was a lot of fun there. I went by myself when I went across the border to. I'm trying to remember the name, but it was in Tacoma,
Wow.
Tacoma, Washington. There, yeah. So it's just on the way, down,
So
just
what's
past
their
Seattle.
ruling down there then?
Yeah.
Speaking
Well,
from your experience.
so what I saw though, because they did have a bang bang rule, and from what I saw is, and what I see on video too, a lot from the States and just other fields. I don't know about out east. Sorry guys, I don't watch you
Based on
guys.
your experience down there, though.
Oh,
Yeah.
but they play that rule forward. Like, like I can come up to you and we could be barrel to barrel, face to face kind of thing. And if I'm within this like minimum engagement distance, I can bang bang. That's how you get into these shouting matches, you see online where it's really funny, where you got a guy running into a room and he's going bang 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 bang, and it's all like, yo, dude, you got shot about 10 minutes ago and you didn't even hear the shot because you're yelling bang bang at everybody. So like that to me, I didn't enjoy that play style, and I definitely, I like it. I don't like it being a confrontational use where I can use it forward. I feel like it's more of like a sneaky and a respect thing, because if I'm coming up to you from the back and I could put it in your soft parts, like I could put one in your in the back, or so the lower back where it really stings or something like that, or
Which
and
you have a point. Like you can come up behind someone and you can whisper mercy, and then you can keep sneaking through the map. Do you come up
Exactly.
behind someone and whisper bang bang in their ear and move on?
yeah, like no, dude, no,
It's not
I'm
the
not
same
going that.
whispering bang
I'm-
bang and mercy. I'd rather
I
go
think
up
I
to
like
someone and be
Mercy.
like, mercy.
Yeah, I like that a lot better.
If you
Bang,
yell
Yeah.
bang bang in my ear, I'm gonna say, "Where's dinner?"
Well, so to speak on that point about the contestability part, I actually really like that you bring that up because that is true. It leaves it
Mhm.
as an optional kind of thing, and it leaves it to the user's discretion. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, not we've been talking a lot about kids and stuff like that, but kids, not kids specifically, but let's say you get the drop on an undergeared person. Your weekend warrior Chad wearing nothing but a flannel and jeans and a high kappa. You know, you're right behind him, like as a as an airsofter, you can give him that mercy, like not have that painful welt that he's going to have because you have that CO2 pistol that you just got that you really want to just peg that guy in the back.
And it's a hot day.
Exactly. It's just like in my opinion, in that situation, I would use mercy, right? Give the guy the opportunity, and if he really wants to, go toe to toe with me on that, then as soon as he flinches, I'm going to be shooting him, and that was his option. You know what I mean? But if it's like a heavily geared, airsoft, guy wearing, full plate carrier and stuff like that, and I get the drop on you behind you, I'm shooting you. Like obviously, I'm not going to get closer than 6 feet because we have to respect that. But like, I am going to shoot you in the back because you're wearing kit, you're wearing gear, you're going to hear it. It's not hitting your direct skin, so there's nothing to cry about. But when it comes to, the undergeared people, that's something that I would definitely use a lot more.
Yeah.
All right. I think we've discussed this enough. Elliot, do you want to add anything to this since it's your field that you're ruling it?
If people don't like the mercy rule, take a step back.
There you go.
Yeah,
There you
well,
go, guys. Yeah.
that's the only thing that I would point out too, is that the only reason that rule is set in place is to mind that minimum distance, right? Like we do have engagement distances set for gun classifications, right? As Elliott and Panther has laid out, from all the way from a bolt action sniper rifle to our DMRs, to our AEGs, and I understand, like, people have their full auto weapons and stuff, like full auto capable weapons, like, you've got your machine guns, your LMGs, and stuff like that. And we have specific rules for those people with those specific game scenarios. So I don't want people to think like they can go buy some M249 and go play in City. Okay, like don't do that. You're not doing it. Like
So the biggest factor on that is that like we deal with those guys on an individual basis because
not everyone
doesn't
has an M249. Exactly. Yeah. So
exactly,
we
and
can
so when we
deal with
see
those unicorns as they come.
yeah, the unicorns.
Yeah. Yeah, you are one. Too, okay, don't forget. And then that also being said, right, is just like you know, like for people's safety, we like engage in these minimum activities, right? Like, we're not letting people full auto each other within 20 feet of each other. Like that would be insane, and then obviously
Especially with our FPS.
well, yeah, and that's what dictates it, right? Like Elliot makes it very clear every weekend to anyone who's out there. It's like, if you're gonna full auto somebody, like you gotta know, like, does your gun hurt? Because would you get full autoed by your gun? Like, and are you gonna put 12 rounds into you, 20 rounds into you? Like, what's your rate of fire at? How would you like that coming at you? Like, because like a lot of people get so overhyped on their gun and everything like that, or what it's capable of, that they really forget, like, it's like, what should you be doing? Because do you need 45 rounds per second? I don't think so. Like,
Is it fun? Yes.
yeah, 100%.
All right, that's getting a little bit off topic, but yeah, I get what you're saying about the minimum engagements.
Exactly. Just respecting each other on the field, you know?
Yeah. All right. I think we've covered all our topics here. Let's do the last part here. We're doing some sort of a showcase. Actually, Pat released his photos. Did you guys get to see it recently?
I don't think I have actually.
Yeah, he did release a photo.
I know
I'll
that he was
pull it
working
up
on
here.
some project.
So Pat usually releases photos. He's my brother basically, and he releases
He's your
photos.
brother, basically.
Basically, yeah, Mac's basically my brother too.
Like,
Yeah. Well, I do
basi-
go by Poi, and then he goes by Pat, so he goes, PP.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Mac and Tech. Jeez.
Yeah, so if you guys check out the Facebook page, Panther Airsoft Facebook page, he does post it in there. He usually takes pictures when he's down there weekends, on the weekends, Sundays especially. And yeah, go check it out.
If you hear a random guy saying "Hey" to you, turn around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Hey, some awkward picture of you looking or something. Like that.
Yeah, he gets us all the time. That's why I
Oh,
don't
but
pay
he
attention.
makes.
I don't
Oh,
pay
but he
attention
does
to
great
that
photos.
at that point anymore. I'll just be like, what?
But I won't lie, he takes great candid photos. That's
Oh, yeah.
something
No,
that
he does.
he's
he's
really
got some
good
good
at.
one. No, yeah,
Yeah.
you and your brother have done a really good job for the field like that. Like the content
Yeah.
out there is amazing, and then Elliot always blesses us with a really nice selfie every now and then. So it's just like absolute gold. Like, you know, whether he's in his Jurassic Park uniform or in his Panther uniform,
Oh,
either
dude,
way, he's
it's
at a
getting
park.
warm enough. It's
That's what I'm
getting
saying.
warm enough.
He's like, it doesn't matter. I'm
It's
at
gonna
a
get
park.
so hot this summer that you're gonna be wearing that 24/7.
Dude,
Yeah,
I got the full Jurassic Park loadout. You know
know.
I'm gonna rock it around the forest shooting at people.
Can we get a motorbike and Chris Pratt you?
Boy,
too,
I'm
or-
gonna borrow your shotgun so I can
Yep.
go full Jurassic Park.
Yes, please. Clever girl.
Yeah, right? I'm gonna sneak up behind Laura and just go, clever girl.
Yes, we'll get a
Oh
photo of
my
that.
God.
We'll put it
Yeah.
we'll put it up here. Don't worry, you guys will see it.
Yeah, that'll
Uh,
be for you guys.
All right. So that's our showcase. Next up is answer or questions from our YouTube comments. If you don't know, we do release these in YouTube as well. We do have a podcast as well. But this is a recent one. This was from our first episode actually. I'll pull it up here. Right here, Kyle K. Dornan.
Kyle Dornan.
Dornan. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's the Tack posted it up on the chat there. But the question states, you guys should be chronoing every player and putting color zap strats to classify their guns. This is minimal policy. There is a minimal policy in Panther. I don't know what he says there. Endless. Someone complains, and then the refs are great about pulling the players and checking. There should be pre-chronos for every player before play, in my opinion. I think he's referring to the HPA part and the full auto.
I don't think he is, actually.
Well,
I think he's talking about in general, which is a funny one, really, because I've spent a lot of money on chronos, and we constantly get them shot out. We'll leave them at the range for people to test their guns. People shoot them. Then we have to go out and do more field checks on people because somebody shot out a chrono for a reason. You don't shoot the screen and think it's going to read. You're doing it because you don't want the chrono to read your gun. We get it, and we know what you're doing. So hide it all you want. We're coming for you. But the reason we don't do spot checks is the same way that, yeah, you can have think with a car, right? You have a police catch you in a speed trap. You'll get a ticket, then you'll get in trouble. But your car doesn't tell you off every time you do it. It waits. Like, you're gonna have to wait till you get caught. You either follow the speed limit or you don't. Like, everyone plays by the rules until someone doesn't, and that one person does something dumb and get caught. I guess speed may not be the best thing. Let's say tinted out windows. That's a better bet.
Yeah.
But we do catch people, and yes, there's 4 people that are currently banned from Panther because they got caught, and that's over the years. That's not in one weekend. Don't worry. But the point is the same. We can't go through and chrono everyone every time they're there. because you take 150 people, each person takes about 30 seconds to a minute. We'll have to open up at 8 a.m. just to get an 11 a.m. game time. And we'd have to start bang on 8 a.m. and have everyone there ready to go.
Mhm.
It's just not going to work. So we have the staff keep an eye out for like, and actually there is, because I don't know if anyone had noticed who plays there, you'll hear the staff say certain things like, that sounded really loud. And that's the hint that something else has gone on. We're around guns enough. We know when something's a little bit off. We know when something sounds louder. We know when there's more pressure behind it. And of course, there are certain guns we have a bias towards because we know they're easier to change. We'll always check them more. Those and sniper rifles.
Mm.
So our policy is we trust you to be honest because airsoft is based on honesty. If you're not going to be an honest person, it's zero tolerance.
And when we catch you, like it comes down. That's it. Like, you know, I've had like Elliott supported me there. Like there are times where we have to go out there random field chrono or anything like that. And being an HPA player myself, like I understand how easy it is to just kind of go past that point, you know, whether it's rate of fire, whether it's the PSI you're running on your tank, you know, and jewel creep with the weight of BBs that you're using and stuff like that. There's so many things to consider when you're running that system. And I've had a lot of guys that run that system be all like, oh, you're singling me out or something. It's like, dude, I'm singling myself out. Okay. Like, I understand how easy it is for someone to be ignorant or arrogant of the rules, you know, and it's not an excuse for this because, you know, like Tack, okay, so you guys all remember, right? Tack got shot in the face like a couple months back, and it was embedded in his. That happened to your brother, right? Pat, remember?
Yeah, Pat had the same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, exactly. So like, you know, like when that happens, it's like those are clearly like, you know, egregious breaches of the rules here. And it really sucks because it's like, you know, like,
Not with Pat. You shot Pat in the face, dude.
yeah,
He
I
did.
know. That's what I'm saying. I know. I was gonna add
It
that
was
part in,
you!
but like
I was trying to figure out who got him.
I was like, we're gonna get to that.
I was gonna
later.
defend him.
No. I shot Pat in the face. and
I
that was
remember. I
terrible.
remember. Don't worry.
Like,
I remember. You
I know.
came by and be like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry."
Oh, dude, I took the guy off the field that game. Like, I
Yeah.
stopped playing, put my gun down, like, you know, and it all came down to the fact that I changed my BB weight, right? And
And
instead of
you came around a corner right into his face. Like
Yep.
he
yeah,
surprised the shit out of you.
yeah, and we were like in 10 feet of each other and stuff, right? So
Yeah.
it's like you
Well,
definitely
there was a little more than that, right? Like the one thing that the big factor was is that you were during that time you were new to HPA and you took the advice of other people instead of doing your own
yes,
research. So
yes,
what does everyone say in HPA? You know, everyone at the field saying run at 110, 120 psi, but
mhm.
little did they know you have a 600 millimeter barrel type bore and you can't run above 80 psi.
Yeah, because then all of a sudden you're gonna be well above your jewel limit, and
Yeah,
yeah, it's like, you know,
and what is it? When we chronoed you, I think it was you were shooting like something above 2 joules, and
it
you
was
know,
like yeah, it was like 2-1 or something like that.
right?
So you know,
So
Pat's an absolute beast for taking that to the face and still coming out as good looking as he is. But you know,
yeah,
like
so
other
you
than
know,
that, like I
but
hear
we dealt with that, and you
yeah,
know, like when it comes to HPA specifically, you know, like I understand, you know, everyone wants to be, you know, they want to be chronoed and stuff like that, or you know, people want other people to be chrono, but like Elliot was saying, you know, it's like um for us to be able to do that, you know, that would probably increase the admission costs, which would then, you know, increase the money that it would
after
for you, you know. So it's like we really got to take the onus on ourselves, you know, and like for people who run HPA, like for the amount of money that you're spending on HPA, like and you know how easy it is to tweak the settings and stuff like that, and with the amount of information that's out there, you know, I feel it's really hard for someone to be ignorant, you know. And if you want to be an ignorant airsofter, stick with an AEG. Like there's no reason to have the extra cumbersome tank and line and stuff like that if all you're doing is wanting to be a lazy airsofter.
And Tack, shall we tell the audience about how much I've had to spend on chrono in the last 3 years?
yeah, bring the number up.
Bring it up.
Two
Yeah.
and a half $1,000.
Yeah.
That's the amount of chronos I've had broken in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to chrono things, and
Yeah.
now they know why I'm so stingy when they're all like, "Can you chrono my gun?" And I'm like, "Are you shooting hot?"
No. Well,
Why you shooting hot?
Yeah,
So-
that's exactly. Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
why?
Well, so Kyle does sort of bring up a good point, but
No,
at
he
the same
does.
time, the way he formatted his question, it's just like, it's like, he's saying you should do this, but then you guys do something when something's brought up, and then it's just like, but you should do it like this, and it's just like,
Well,
so to answer his question on that, it's just like, if you're a problem, you're gonna be dealt with. Like, trust me, you're dealt with, and if you're not being dealt with, consider yourself safe, and it's like, and if you break the rules, we'll catch you, it's just like, you never know, I might be right beside you one day in a game and gonna chrono you right on the spot there. You never know that, it's just like, you want to be a good person in the community, and at the same time too, a lot of people buy stock guns. It's like, let's bring that up as well. It's just like, there aren't a lot of people who have all these, crazy guns. And if they do have some of these crazy guns, they usually have an experienced tech work on it. It's usually the people who are amateur techs where they don't know what they're doing. And then next thing you know, they add a whole bunch of parts in. They don't know about cylinder voluming, and then they run into the same thing, right? You can also dual creep an AEG, right? But at the same time, it's just like, I find it easier, at least in Canada, for us, where our guns are in a spectrum, so it's kind of easy to be like, oh yeah, don't worry, it's going to be like that. But then, as Elliot brought up too, with the snipers, like with Novrich's sniper, he came out with his brand new sniper, and our experiences with his SSG-24 from before is as soon as I see someone with that, we're going to be chronoing you no matter what, because our experiences with his SSG-24 were very bad. A lot of people were shooting hot to the point where you're not even allowed to bring that to the field, right? And when you're running that, you're not going to be running .2 BBs. You're going to be running .4 BBs. And if you're shooting above 500, which is what some of them, were doing, you're absolutely not going to be playing, regardless of what platform you have.
Yeah.
and I know there are people out there who say that we shouldn't chrono with point 0.2 ever.
Mhm.
They say that you should only ever use joules, and I can respect what they're saying, but at the
Mhm.
same time, I'm going to disagree. You can always test people on a baseline with point 0.2. It gives
Mhm.
you something to work with. Yes, you should check your joules. You should make sure they're not over a joule limit,
Yeah.
but using point 0.2, you get your baseline to figure out where you're working in. Like, I shoot a combat machine with point 0.2 and I shoot an SSG with point 0.2. I'm going to
Mhm.
know the FPS difference using that. The joules aren't going to tell me the FPS difference without having any numbers in front of me, but I know how much I'm going to be working with. If I say it's got 2.7 joules and 500 feet per second, I know something's up and we got to figure it out from there. But it's
Mhm.
like, do not drop the point 0.2 regulation. It will help.
Mhm. Well, it's good to accompany that. I know that we do that with HPA, for instance, right? We use .3s as the standard
Exactly.
for HPA, and specifically for that is because of the jewel creep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Mind you, if you're shooting anything lower than .3s with an HPA, I don't know what you're doing unless you're playing CQB. But then if you're playing
You're
CQB with
poor.
an HPA gun, speed soft.
Mhm.
Speeds
Yeah.
on.
That's another debatable topic later. All right. Hopefully that answers your question there, Kyle. Thanks for the comments. If you guys have any further comments, you could comment in our YouTube. If this is on YouTube, you could comment on it. Um,
If
other
we have it
than
on
that,
Facebook, you guys can comment on our Facebook as
yep,
well.
comment on Facebook as well.
Mhm.
All right. So our next
Please like
episode.
and subscribe.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, yeah, I forgot. I forgot to mention on that last
Yeah.
podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, like and subscribe if you can. If you're watching this on Spotify, there's no like or option. You just
They can save it.
Yeah,
save it.
just
Yeah,
save it or follow it.
save it.
Add in a
Bye,
little
guys.
Yeah.
Follow
Just
it.
yeah, and yeah, if you could share it, that'll be great. That'll
Mhm.
spread it to the BC Airsoft community. It'll be great. We love to
Mhm.
talk to people. We love to answer your questions and anything else related to the field. Um, Hopefully we could do this again next week. I don't know how
Mhm.
busy you guys are, but I don't mind doing these episodes, almost every
Mhm.
week.
Mhm.
Elliot, hopefully you'll make
I
it
know.
as well.
Yeah.
Other than
Hopefully.
that, is there anybody else that wants to put up anything or say anything? Go
Well,
ahead.
Yeah, so just like you guys have been mentioning, and just this is to anyone that's viewing out there too. Like, again, these are our views, these are our opinions and everything. So I'd really love it for anyone else to jot down their questions, concerns, opinions in the comments and stuff. I always get a kick out of reading that stuff, even if it's mean. Go ahead. And other than that, yeah, guys, we'll see you on the next one.
Yep. All right. This is Poi. We got Mac. We got Tack and Elliott. We're going to sign off here. See you on our next podcast. Goodbye.